Has anyone checked in on Yuji? His hands are now stained with the crimson color of blood. Those very same hands took 1,000 lives and now hold the unimaginable weight of those debts. To be fair, it wasn't Yuji that took those lives. As we already know, it was Sukuna, but Yuji isn't the type of guy to accept that logic. Sure, Gojo did get sealed, which led to Jogo force feeding him multiple fingers at once. The thing is though, that doesn't matter to Yuji. He is the only person who can accept this impossible mission to contain Sukuna and eliminate him once and for all. Yuji prided himself on that role because after all, it would save thousands if he succeeds. This is established when Yuji tells Principal Yaga, "Consuming Sukuna, I know that's something only I can do." But in the very next moment, Yuji says, "I'll get depressed knowing that people might be dying because of Sukuna. Even if none of this really involves me, there's no way I can convince myself that it's not my fault." A very virtuous statement by the 15-year-old, but this sentiment will also come back to haunt him on Halloween and Shibuya. Today we will be looking at the most impactful moments from Season 1 and 2 to see what Yuji's mindset will be like in Season 3. But first, if you haven't already done so, I'd like to remind you to like and subscribe. This is my new channel, so I greatly appreciate your support. Enjoy! At the time of Season 3, Yuji has only been a sorcerer for around 4 months. Short, sickening, disastrous. Those 3 words barely scrape the surface of what Yuji's time in Jujutsu has been like. He started upbeat and eager, he could die happy knowing he saved lives, but he was ignorant, not knowing just how dark the world of Jujutsu could be. Mahito brought the darkness to Yuji's doorstep. Mahito used his curse technique to turn humans into twisted monsters. He even turned Junpei into a monster right in front of Yuji's eyes. This is big because Yuji wanted to save Junpei from his despair and show him that there's another way to live. Junpei could have lived a life as a sorcerer to save people in need and find purpose, but Mahito took that from Junpei. Junpei is the first life Yuji couldn't save, even though he was right in front of Yuji. That moment means more to Yuji's character than some may think. If Yuji couldn't save Junpei, how could he save Megumi? And if he can't save him, then how could he possibly stay close to him now knowing Sukuna has a plan involving Megumi? Mahito also challenged Yuji's resolve with his use of transfigured humans. Remember, Yuji wanted to save lives, not take them, and early on he resolved himself by killing transfigured humans to save Nanami. It may not have been ideal for Yuji to do so, but it was non-negotiable. His teacher's life was on the line. Next, he is challenged by the idea of killing something even closer to a human being than the aforementioned transfigured humans. Enter Eso. After Nobara kills Kechizu, they are shocked that the body isn't disappearing, meaning Kechizu was flesh and blood, not a curse. Eso cries for his brother, which catches Yuji off guard and gives Eso a chance to briefly escape. With the help of Kugasaki lending resonance, Yuji was able to catch up and finish Eso off. But not before apologizing to Eso. Now standing over his corpse, Yuji says, "Damn, that hurt." His heart hurt more than his fists. Yuji took another life, and this time it wasn't a human who was turned into something inhuman, it was a person acting on their own volition. Again, he wanted to save lives, not take them, but now he's in too deep. The world of sorcery is a machine that nurtures a cult-like mentality, and his talk with Nobara after the fight highlights how they don't have the luxury of weighing their options on how to deal with opponents. Despite Nobara lending a shoulder to try and help Yuji carry the burden, it all came down to the fact that tears were shed because Yuji took a life. It takes absolute power to weigh your options against an opponent, and Yuji is not at that level. The harsh reality is setting in. However, Yuji marches on, his sights set on a target that is pure evil, but Mahito will have to wait because someone else has their eye on him. Choso wants revenge for the death of his younger brothers. In this fight, Yuji must face the brother of his last victim. Will he face retribution? It seems that way as Choso pierces Yuji's liver with a lethal blood meteorite. Instead of panicking and worry about what is going to happen later, Yuji clears his mind and turns to fear and accursed energy, finally understanding the role of a Jujutsu sorcerer. Defeat the enemy before you so your allies can proceed forward, even if it means you die. Yuji locks in, but it isn't enough. Choso wins and spares Yuji because of the revelation that they're brothers. This, however, gives Jogo a chance to feed Yuji 10 fingers while he's out. This allows Sukuna to take the stage. Now the moment that breaks Yuji. Sukuna massacres 1,000 civilians. Sukuna is the antithesis of Yuji. Selfish strength versus selfless compassion. This is pretty straightforward. And Yuji's reaction tells all. He throws up from the revelation of what Sukuna did in his body. He even carries this immense guilt with him during Season 3. It's not just something he can move on from, and now he feels like he can't be with his friends anymore either. See, in his eyes, he is just a murderer. There's also the issue of Sukuna plotting to use Megumi in some kind of way. This makes it hard for Yuji. So much has been stripped away from him in Shibuya. Physically, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. This has by far been one of the most impactful arcs on a main character in Shonen. And the worst part is, Halloween isn't over yet. Mahito is still roaming around. so Yuji doesn't have the time to stay wallowing in his despair. Amazingly, Yuji had the resilience to move forward, but it only allowed him to experience more pain. Mahito kills Nanami right in front of Yuji, pushing him further into the abyss. This begins one of the best fights in Jujutsu Kaisen. Mahito challenges Yuji's ideas, paralleling the fact that Yuji kills cursed spirits indiscriminately, just as Mahito does with humans. This will come back to bite Mahito later on in the fight, but for now, Mahito isn't done pushing Yuji's soul further into the abyss, as he takes Nobara Kugisaki's life right in front of Yuji. This of course adds to Yuji's trauma on an insane level. He breaks completely. First Junpei, then Nanami, and now Nobara. He couldn't save 3 of his friends that were right in front of him. He is supposed to make friends, so when he dies, he will be surrounded by them. But now the number of friends around him is starting to thin out. With a black flash, Yuji is at death's door, but Todo comes in to save him and give him a gleam of hope to continue fighting. They eventually are triumphant in a long, hard-fought battle full of ups and downs. Now Mahito is the one at death's door, and Yuji gives my favorite speech by a Shonen MC as he tells Mahito, "I'm you." This highlights Yuji's mindset as a cog to accept his role to wipe out curses until he dies. If Mahito comes back, Yuji will be there to kill him. The vicious cycle of a toxic mindset. As Halloween comes to a close, Yuji walks away a different person. The kid we know and love is still in there, but is now buried by grief and guilt. Season 3 will tackle Yuji's toxic mindset, but he still has to worry about Sukuna's plan involving Megami. Yuji tells Choso in the first episode of Season 3 that he can't go back even if he wanted to, but how can Yuji decline Megami's request in episode 2 to start by saving him? Megami saved Yuji and there's nothing more that Yuji wants to do than help Megami save his sister and Megami in the process. Can he save Megami? Will Yuji be freed from his guilt, or will he face the punishment he believes he deserves? We will be eagerly watching to see how these things play out in Season 3, but I can promise you that you are in for some big surprises. That'll do it for me. Thanks for staying for the whole video. This is the Jagan. Remember, stay normie, stay weeb. Shit, even in between is fine. Until next time, peace.